Kevin De Bruyne. This week, Pep Guardiola comes out and says, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not yet put him in that best player in the world.
Well, he did it last year. He said he's playing like Messi. That was last year.
And this week, he's very much trying to seemingly lower expectations. When is it okay for us to acknowledge that this guy is in that elite class? Is he there yet, or are we still a ways away?
Well, what are we calling elite class? I mean, we're saying
best
Messi...
in the world, the best in the world conversation.
No.
That's what that was.
No, but nobody belongs in that conversation other than Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo.
When those two retire,
right beneath them.
Yeah, but beneath them is fine. Beneath
He's
them,
there already. He's there already?
Beneath them you can have that conversation, and it's because of performances. It's not just because of opinion. It's because you see the guy play and how he changes the game for Manchester City. For him to stand out in a team that has stars all over the field in that attacking half, it tells you some of the things that he's doing very well. He can score goals. He can find passes. He can take players on one-on-one. He can find spaces. Very intelligent with his movement. All those things are happening with Kevin De Bruyne. He's showing a maturity of his game that perhaps he hasn't had in the past. I think he's in the conversation below the real best players in the world.
You agree, Brian?
I agree. The other thing I think that he does and has the capability to do is he can play anywhere in that midfield. He can play as the underneath striker. And when you have a player that has the ability, of course, but then has the understanding to fit in where a team needs him, to cause problems, to be effective. He doesn't just go forward. Defensively, he's positioning himself very well. He works hard for the team. And all those things you look at attribute to him being in that conversation.
Based on what we've seen so far from City compared to what we've seen already this season from the other teams that are kind of your Champions League favorites, is City a realistic contender?
They've got to be real. They've got to be realistically getting to the semi-finals, and then see what happens from there. I would say they have to be in the mix. On when it gets to 2 games of 90 minutes home and away, they could tear a PSG apart. They could tear Real Madrid open. But then these teams are capable of doing it to them. So I absolutely think they're in the mix. They've improved unbelievably since last year, defensively as well. They've got a proper goalkeeper as well now who's not throwing the ball in the net whenever somebody breaks through.
Oh, is that a problem?
That was a slight issue for them
save
last
today,
year.
massive.
They've still got Aguero to come back from his rib injury. And as you mentioned, all these players are playing great. So they've got to be in the mix. Spent all this money. There's some great players playing in the Champions League. We've seen what PSG are going to be doing and the players they've signed. We know Real Madrid will be in there. And with Messi on fire, Barca will be as well. But I expect them to be in the semi-finals minimum.